Hello, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and this is the president of Rich Dad, Shane Caniglia. He's also our chief technology officer. I mean, he's the techie of the group here. And we're going to be talking to you about a very important subject today in 2015, the subject called, Should You Be an Entrepreneur? And so, you know, Shane and I are pretty hardcore entrepreneurs, right?
Yep.
Do you want a job?
No.
No.
No way.
No way. And and do you have a college degree?
No.
No. I have a college degree, and for those of you out there who think a college degree matters, let me say this to you. It doesn't. You know, what I learned in school years ago has no application today. Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked Shane, would you hire me?
No.
No, I'm obsolete, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm as obsolete as I come, and I have a college degree. And I'm going to talk to you all of you out there who may hate your job. And if you hate your job, ¿qué pasa, man? What are you doing there? Grow up, you know? Do something different. Or, worst of all, is Shane and I always talk about how technology is going like this, right? It's called accelerating and acceleration. Do you think many of the jobs that are here in 2015 will be here in 2020?
No.
What's happening there?
They'll be replaced by, well, they'll either be replaced by the no need for a position. In other words, they can replace you with technology or some form of automation. Or secondly, they'll replace with a more skilled position that has a ton of technical experience.
Right. So what is, you know, we hear all these people demanding today, they want $15 an hour, they want increase the minimum wage, they want wage equality for everybody and all that. Well, it's nice in theory, but what do you think of raising everybody's wage, let's say 25 bucks an hour? Or everybody in the company gets the same pay scale. What do you think that? What are the odds of that?
It's no way. Would never happen. You'd basically be out of business if you did that.
So we're going to talk today about, I think, for those of you who may not like your job or you're not making enough money, but more importantly, what's the odds of you being obsolete or your company firing you or your company being obsolete? For example, back in the 1970s, a company called Eastman Kodak, you know, guys that brought you the film business, they invented a thing called digital photography. It's in the 1970s. And so their own invention put them out of business.
And they didn't change with the times.
Yeah, because Eastman Kodak could not adapt to the new model. You know, because when I was a kid, you know, it was basically Kodak cameras and Nikon cameras.
Yep.
Now, Sony has cameras, iPhones have cameras.
We have a young kid that invented the GoPro camera that has sold absolutely like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a camera, I don't know if many of you are familiar with it. You mount it on anything from a surfboard to a head cam to skateboard, and it just changed the whole industry.
Right. So for those of you out there who actually believe this BS, and it's BS, you go to school and get a job for job security, and then you'll have a job for life, you'll have benefits, get your 401k, and then you retire at age 65 or 55, depending, and you'll live happily ever after. What do you think about that?
Nope.
It's gone.
It's gone.
So
plus, it's no fun. We're here to pull out a spirit in you, to be fun, to find a passion that drives you to be the person not only you want to be, but to do what you want to do. And you can do it from your apartment, from your mobile phone, and reach the world.
Yeah.
Totally different time we're living in now.
So I don't know if we've reached yet. I know for most people, you know, they want job security so much because if they don't get that paycheck, they're toast. You know, they're on the streets.
Yep.
And then they're going to have to try and clamber back, you know, get back to another job and stuff like this. If that's you, we're not talking to you. I don't think you have a prayer. I think you'll be obsolete in a few years, unfortunately. So what we're talking today, exactly as Shane says, is about finding your passion and possibly becoming an entrepreneur. And I'm not saying it's easy. And there's no guarantees. If you want it easy and guarantees, it's not for you, right?
Yeah, but it's. I really love that you say that, because is it, for sakes of playing devil's advocate, is it easier for you to go to a job that you potentially hate or to do something that you don't want to do? That's not easy either. It's just that you're trained into almost a robotic life.
Yeah.
What we're trying to say is you don't have to live that. And we're not saying it's easy, but you wouldn't want it to be easy. There's no value to that.
Well, if you wanted it easy, I guess it's not for you, you know. I remember when we at the Rich Dad Company have a philosophy, or a suggestion, keep your daytime job with your benefits and all that, but start a part-time business. In other words, it takes time to learn to be an entrepreneur. I went to flight school. It took me 2 years to learn to fly. It's the same thing with a pro golfer. How long does a person have to practice golf to be a pro golfer? And so to expect that you'll just step out the door, walk into your garage, and then a week later walk out with Apple computers as a business. And so the thing that Rich Dad is, we really encourage people, given the technological changes, how fast the world is changing, we really encourage those with any kind of courage, any kind of guts, with any kind of foresight to become an entrepreneur. Again, we're not saying it's easy, right?
Yeah, and we don't, and we want you to understand it's the reason it's not easy. It's the value in what you've learned, and the trials and tribulations that you go through, that you become the person that you want to be, and you control that person.
Yeah. So I'll start by telling you my experience of the day I stopped being an employee. When I got out of the Marine Corps in '74, Rich Dad said to me, he says, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you've got to learn how to sell. And the trouble is, I'm very shy. I didn't know. I'm afraid I don't like rejection. I couldn't get a date because I'm so shy. So he says, you better learn how to sell. So that's why I joined the Xerox Corporation. So I spent 4 years learning how to sell. So when you look at what is the success of the Rich Dad company, it has nothing to do with my super smiling talent. It had to do with my ability to learn how to sell. You see, you go out there every day, you knock on doors, and if you don't you don't bag a customer, you don't eat. And I like to eat. So for 4 years, I was out there, bang, 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 and then one day I could sell. I went, wow. And then my Rich Dad says, it's time for you to become an entrepreneur. Quit the corporate world, which is Xerox. It's a great company. I just hated working there. So because I was #1 in sales, they flew me to Puerto Rico for this big sales contest. All the #1 salespeople came from all over the world to Puerto Rico. And in Puerto Rico, since they speak Spanish, I said, adios. I'm out of here. I'm going to spread my wings and fly from Puerto Rico. I never went back. And the business I started was a nylon and Velcro surfer wallet business. Again, I kept my daytime job for 4 years at Xerox, but I started my part-time business. And I still remember my friends, that we're all making back then probably $60,000 to $80,000 a year, which was a lot of money in the 70s because we're top salespeople. And they said to me this, he says, you'll be back because you're going to fail. I said, I'm going to fail, but I'm not coming back. I don't care. You see, the point here is this. Failing is part of the process of success. You cannot be successful without failing. No golfer has ever gone out there and hit holes in ones all day. You can't do that. Yet for some reason, especially academic people went to school, they think you're supposed to hit holes in ones all day long. Well, it's not realistic. Or in school, they teach you not to make mistakes. Well, if you don't make mistakes, how do you learn anything? A baby learns to walk by standing up and falling down. If you punish the kid like they do in school, the kid never learns to walk. And that's why so many people cling to job security. They want that steady paycheck because they really learned nothing in school to survive on. They have no real skills outside of school that you can survive on your own. So what was your process of becoming an entrepreneur, your background?
Well, I originally started out as a rock and roller. I wanted to...
that qualifies you.
I was originally born in the Midwest and either had that opportunity when I graduated from high school was to go pursue a dream, a passion of mine, versus going the more structured route, go to college, stay at home, get a job. I even had an opportunity to take over my brother's business, and none of it attracted me. It was almost as if my life was rolled out for me before I had lived it. And it really just didn't sit well with me. So I packed everything up, moved out to California, pursued a dream in rock and roll, and put out 2 albums. We're signed to a label, but like most rock and roll bands, the more successful we got, the more drugs and alcohol the singer did. And I just didn't want that for a long-time lifestyle. So through that period, I had met my now current business partner, Mike Sullivan, and an opportunity came up to open a shipping company. And the minute that came up, I bid on it. Quit the band, worked a job with another trucking company for a short amount of time, and
just to learn the business.
Yep, just to learn the business. Right. Yep, and never look back.
And that's exactly what Shane is talking about. Is, you know, do you have a dream? Is your dream of job security, or is it financial freedom? And again, I wish I could say it's easy, and I wish I could say I never failed, but that's not true. You know, my first business was a nylon and Velcro surfer wallet business. And this is the terrible thing about it. Success killed us. You know what I mean?
It grew too fast.
Our business went straight up. We're international. We had products going all over the world. I was in Playboy. I was in Runner's World magazine. The trouble is we couldn't finance the success. And then what happened, success went to the head of we're three guys in our 20s and 30s. And the first thing we did was money started coming in. You know, two guys bought Mercedes and I bought a Porsche, and then we bought Harley Davidsons, then we bought boats. And since we were single, we started going out with very fast women. And for some reason, the business went up. And we crashed. Now, I was right across the street from my friends at Xerox at the time in Honolulu. And they said, you crashed, you failed, you're coming back. And I said, I'm never coming back. I just lost my first business. And my rich dad said, most entrepreneurs lose 3 businesses before they make it. And he says, congratulations, you lost your first one. Yep. I went, oh, geez. So I picked up the nylon and Velcro wallet business, and that's when Shane was in rock and roll, I went into rock and roll also. And you know, when you go to those concerts, they have all the products for sale, like hats, wallets, bags, T-shirts. I had a license to produce those products, and I went, oh, this is a good business. But sex, drugs, and rock and roll, same problem. Success goes to your head. Yep. And we partied on, and we lost that business. But I learned a good thing in that rock and roll business. We had the Police, Duran Duran, Boy George, Van Halen. I learned I was on the wrong side of the table. You know, the rock band was making all the money. For example, when my first date with my wife Kim went to the Police concert, and I didn't enjoy the concert because I was in the back with the attorneys. Oh God, that was horrible. Yeah, here I am, a young entrepreneur with no money. You know, these women are running around naked, the police are on stage, and I'm arguing with an attorney. And he wanted to get more money out of me. You know, the more successful I became, the more he was twisting. You know, that's corporate America. Yep. The more successful you become, the more they twist you. I understand all this. And I had this aha moment. I said, I'm on the wrong side of the table. That SOB is on that side, and I'm on this side. I'm paying them to put the police on my wallets and bags and T-shirts. And the more successful they become, the more they take money from me. I'm not making any money. These guys are draining me. So I went, oh. Then I realized, you know, as simple as it sounds, there's 2 sides to a table. You know, the F1 and the F2. And I was F2, man. I was getting hosed. And I said, okay, the next thing I'm going to do as my development as an entrepreneur, I'm going to be the guy on that side of the table. Yep. You know, I want to be the guy that everybody comes to, and they want to do a brand with me. I am a brand. And the reason we have this thing here, this is the BI triangle, okay? Product is the least important thing. You know, most important is your mission. What's your mission? Number 2 is who is your leadership? Who is your team? Product is the least important. So my wallet business, who cares? Next is legal. If you don't have legal in business, this is all the things you'll learn about being an entrepreneur. In other words, you hear it on Shark Tank. They always say it. Is your product proprietary? That means, is this thing protected? So I realized that the police, they had legal protection called the trademarks and stuff like that. That's what made the product valuable, was the legal. And then you have systems. So a body is a system of systems. You know, you have your respiratory system, your blood system, your brain system, your bone skeletal system, same as a business. So by the time I got down to here, I realized here that I could go worldwide if my product became a brand legally. You see, the police was just a product, they were a band. And the moment I put it there, they charged me money to put their likeness on my product so I could sell it throughout the world. So I went through companies like J.C. Penney's back then and Spencer's Gifts and all this. That was the system. And that's how I got rich. I was like, oh my God, I got to...
I'm sorry. Keep going.
I said, oh my God, it's systems. And that's when all this stuff my rich dad taught me. This is a long way of saying it. Then comes communication, which is sales, external marketing, public relations, and all this. And we have cash flow. It's called the bottom line. And you've got to understand cash flow and how to protect it from predators. So this is basically, I call it the 8 integrities of a business. So Rich Dad's very, very happy in that we're starting to teach people these 8 systems. Because the reason most entrepreneurs fail is 1 or 2 of these is missing. So like you could be very, very good with a great product, but your marketing sucks, or you have no public relations, or you have no cash flow management, or you have a lousy team, or you have bad leadership, and you don't have a strong enough mission. See, mission is spiritual. It's why you get out there. Most people's mission is just to make money. There's nothing wrong with making money, but making money is not a very spiritual mission. Anything you want to say about this process? Because this is what you have to learn to be an entrepreneur.
No, I think that's in essence what makes everybody success, and the ability to self-assess where your strengths and weaknesses are. So maybe you're great on the system side, but you're not real good in marketing, and you don't understand cash flow. To be able to self-assess and go through your head and say, okay, I need to fill this role. I need to fill this role. This is what I can add to the team. This is what I can add to the mission. You may be a natural leader, no good at anything.
Right.
But at the end of the day, defining those roles will help you grow exponentially, because most people can't go through the self-assessment process and define, hey, I'm not good at that, I need to fill that role.
Right.
I mean, that's basically what you did at Rich Dad. That's what you do at Rich Dad.
Yeah. Well, the thing is this, when most people start their first business, 9 out of 10 will fail in 5 years. And the reason 9 out of 10 will fail is if you're the sole entrepreneur, you have to do all of this.
Yep.
You have to be good at all of it, and none of us are good at all of it. So that's the reason 9 out of 10 fail. So we at Rich Dad have a new program we'll be talking to you about before you quit your job. Find out how good you are, like pressure test it. How good are you at these things? Can you withstand the pressure? Because the problem with most employees, they go to work at 9, they go home at 5. You become an entrepreneur, it's 24/7, right?
Yeah, and you know what? You don't think about the hours because you love what you're doing. It's your passion, and you're having fun, and you're learning on the fly, and
you'll learn all of this.
Yeah, and you're making decisions that, again, the most exciting part for me, your decision has clear value to the direction of where your company and or mission is going, and there's nothing more fun than that.
So Shane and I'm strong here on the communication side because I come from sales and marketing background. I write our books and things like this. Shane is very strong here. And Shane is the leader of the company. Why am I not the leader? Because I suck at all this. I'm only good here. I'm not good at accounting. I'm not a good CFO. I know nothing about legal. I don't like to read that much. And I'm really terrible at product design. So I just stay here. And Shane and Mike Sullivan go here, then we have a team over here, and we have a strong mission. That's what makes you rich. Can you start as an individual with the 8 integrities? Can you survive the first 5 years? Most don't. And then can you start adding team members to it? So like we have a CFO, we have an attorney that handles this. I don't know anything about the law. Most people don't. And this is the CFO, they got to know about accounting. Do you know anything much about accounting? No. And that's why people fail. They don't grow and they don't really feed this thing. You got to grow this thing in business. And that's really what we're about. The big change came in 1990 when it hit right here. It's a thing called the internet. And for the very first time, the internet gave power to the little guy, the individual, power to the people. So because of this system here, a business can go worldwide for very low cost and make high profit margins for the very first time. Yep. So that's why I'm glad Shane is here to talk about how we are developing people to start a big business, but by using the internet and social media necessarily, right? And
yeah.
What are we doing here now?
Well, one of the things we wanted to do was search out for opportunities that could help people become entrepreneurs at all levels, big,
Well,
small, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and the reason for it is you're probably going to lose your job anyway.
Right.
And there's probably going to no Social Security. There's going to be no Medicare because that's bust. So what are you going to do? Cling to job security? So that's why we search it out, and we wanted to find the best, right?
Yes, and one of the first things we look for, it has to be branded. It has to fit everything that Rich Dad stands for. And in this case, with Profit Academy, it's mission. Mission is a passion. It's the spirit that keeps us all moving. And we don't just help you define what your passion is, but we also support you underneath it with all types of weekly meetings as you go through the course. We're going to help you with that. You certainly have access.
You want to make your mistakes before you go live, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we have a pretty nice bonus package that we put together. And if Greg, if you would come up for a second and just share that.
One second. The reason I love about Profit Academy is this here. Is one of the weaknesses I see in most people is they go in, they become an entrepreneur, and their object is to make money, cash flow.
Yep.
If you don't have this, your passion, your survival rate goes down because it's your spirit. It's spiritual intelligence that gets you through the hard times, and there are hard times. So this is why we love Profit Academy, because they're mission-driven, purpose-driven, more than just money-driven. And that, to me, is the key to success. Like Shane and I, we're entrepreneurs in education. Mm-hmm. Why? We hated school. I really think that the education system, the good teachers, most teachers, I would say about 60% are good people. But they're obsolete. They're dinosaurs. The educational system is not keeping up with the world, not preparing kids for the real world. So part of my mission is I'm still kind of pissed off at school because it made me feel stupid every single day. I'd go to school and sit down and say, well, Kiyosak is an idiot. I wasn't an idiot. I just didn't want to be an employee. All I wanted somebody to do was tell me how to be like my rich dad, not my poor dad. I wanted to be an entrepreneur who understood how to build businesses, how to create jobs, and also how to be an investor. That's why I study real estate so much, not just because of real estate, but because of taxes and all that stuff. You get the benefits you get. Yep. Better than a 401k. So that's why we love Profit Academy. It's like this. To be an entrepreneur, you got to have a little FU in you. Like, hey, the school system, you screwed up. Let's do something better. And so Rich Dad is doing something better. Which that drives you to is education.
Yeah, big time. Yep. Yeah, because the more you teach people, the better we all are off at the end of the day. And just touching on what you just said, when you talk about the mission, that's a space that a lot of people get scared of. They don't think they can make money with their passion, or they don't think that anybody will care about it, or they don't think that that anything could ever happen out of it. It's just a hobby they do, is kind of a part-time thing. In today's world, that's totally flipped, because we have the World Wide Web that allows you to share your passion, your interest, your spirit with everybody around the world. And I can guarantee you there's people are just as interested in what you have to share with them as they are you. And that creates really an interesting symbiotic relationship from anywhere in the world. And that's what Rich Dad stands for.
So when we did this joint venture through a licensing agreement, through the system of the World Wide Web, but the primary thing with Joint Profit Academy of the 8 integrities is the mission. And I want you to find your mission. What's your purpose for being here? Yep. Why are you here? Just to make some money for job security? That's very shallow existence. So the reason we love Profit Academy is this is the most important thing, because this is the 8 integrities my rich dad showed me. This makes a mission, this makes a business, this makes an asset, but this is the thing that drives it. So that's why we're excited about what we're doing at Profit Academy. Yeah,
and we do our due diligence to make sure somebody such as a partner like Profit Academy has all these things in place. Can you handle growth potential? Because it's huge. You got to be able to run a business.
Right. So just real quickly, this is what makes up a business: is 8 integrities. The reason 9 out of 10 people fail is they don't have all 8. If one is weak, it all comes down. That's like saying I have a great car, but I've got no brake system in it. You're going to crash one day. The brake system's missing. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll just drag my feet. So systems keep the whole thing together. And the beauty, I'll say it again, is when the world internet came in 1990, this made it possible for the little entrepreneur to compete with the big guys. So many of the big companies today, like the S&P 500, it'll be the S&P 300 in 20 years because the little guy's going to kick their butt.
They're not flexible. They're not agile.
No.
They can't move as fast.
And they all want job security, and they're not into thinking outside the box. They have to sing the company song and drink the company Kool-Aid. You know, entrepreneurs don't want to do that. So we can bring out Greg now.
Yeah, so what I want to talk about is just that Rich Dad doesn't just, again, part of the system. We don't just offer you the opportunity for Profit Academy. We have a package that comes along with it to help you get through it. So you're not out there by yourself. You touched on it earlier. You had your Rich Dad. That's a team.
Right.
And we preach team at Rich Dad. Probably one of the, outside of mission, team arguably might be the most hardcore thing we push.
Oh, this is...
Yeah, you got to have good people. And no different than if you started a business and you say partner with somebody such as Amazon or Amazon's got to be good enough. They have to have good people around to help you sell. So you got to work with somebody at any level. So I just want Greg to come up and share what we offer to help you get through this, because as you said earlier, it's not easy to do.
No.
And we understand that because we've been through that. So we're here to help you with those pinch points that we know you're going to run up against.
So while Greg's coming up here, let me give you one more story about why team is important. If you're married, your husband or wife, you better get them on board here, because it's, like if your wife wants to be an employee, you're going to have a hard time. Or your husband is a slug and doesn't do any work at all and just sucks coffee all day and watches TV and eats Cheetos. That's part of your team here. So when you become an entrepreneur, everything that sucks in your life will be exposed.
Get
right,
tested.
Greg? It'll be
It's like Bill Cosby said,
it's not a good name.
when you do, when you do cocaine, it amplifies your personality.
Yeah.
Same problem. When you become an entrepreneur, it amplifies or it magnifies all your problems.
Yeah, you find out who your friends are.
Real fast.
You attract cheats, scoundrels, scumbags. Anyway, Greg, so that's on team. You got to have your spouse on board if you have one.
I'm going to cover up.
Stand in front of it.
Yeah.
Triangle there. All right.
So this is Greg. He's in charge of our marketing for Rich Dad. He's been with us for years, and a great job, fantastic job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So one of our missions before you start, Greg, was to make sure that, again, I just want to repeat myself, that to Robert's point, because he's hammering that home, is that we want to help you against all these pinch points you're going to run up against that fit into the 8 integrities of the business, the BI triangle, because we do it. We live it here every day.
Right.
So we
also teach all employees the same thing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We want them to be entrepreneurs too.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
Teach it or you beat it into us one way or the other. Yeah.
Well, if I don't, government will.
Right. So actually, some of the bonus. Darren, can I move this thing? Yeah. Some of the bonuses that we offered, we built around the BI triangle. So, just
For those who want to know what BI, this is a cash flow quadrant: employees, small business, self-employed, big business, or investor. So this is the BI triangle. This here is the poor and middle class. This here is the rich. So Rich Dad teaches on this site. You want to go on that site, just go to school. Okay.
Good. So one of the things we learned is that when we try to help people start their own businesses before, they get totally freaked out when it comes to forming an LLC. They can't get past it.
On the legal side.
Yeah. And as simple as that is, it makes it so people get so scared that they couldn't do anything else. And so what we did, one of the bonuses we did, is we worked with Garrett Sutton, who is Robert's Rich Dad advisor.
Our legal Rich Dad advisor.
Yep.
Right.
And he will be setting up everyone who signs up. He'll be setting them up with their own LLC, and in addition, he'll be doing their paperwork for the first year.
And it's important that we say we use Garrett Sutton. He does all of our legal work here at Rich Dad.
Yeah.
So we're not sending you to somebody we don't have experience with. He's been through our process.
Yeah.
He's part of our mission.
Yeah.
So
Exactly right. So that's one of the bonuses. The other thing you mentioned was team. We don't want you to just sign up for this course and then, okay, see you later, good luck. So every week, the Rich Dad team, who is also taking the course,
Yep.
along with Shane, and we'll actually be having a coach from Profit Academy join us. We'll be doing weekly meetings to check on your progress, help you when you do get stuck.
Answer questions.
Answer questions.
Let you know that you're. I think I'm sorry to interrupt you. The key thing is, and Robert said it. It's not easy, but we're letting you know that there's other people that are going through this, and they're struggling with stuff too. For example, some of you may go through an LLC like nothing, but some people don't. So we're here to help you. That everybody's going to have pinch points somewhere. Yep. That's just part of being an entrepreneur.
And you'll find you learn from the other people in the community. They share tips. Half the weekly meeting is people writing into us to tell us how they overcame certain obstacles, and then we share that with the whole community. So it's a neat feature.
And again, I think it's
you get a free LLC.
So yeah, you get a
Part of
free
the package.
Yeah.
You pay for it, but
we buy it for them.
we do.
Yeah, Rich Dad does.
Wow.
Yeah. So you do it. Thank you.
it's part.
Wait a minute. That comes to the bottom line here. That's my profit.
Maybe I should have asked Robert.
No, I'm glad to do that.
It's part of the overall package because we want to be there every step of the way.
Well, let me tell you why. You really don't need an LLC when you're poor. But when you get rich, you need one.
Yeah.
Really bad.
And you can't get one the moment you get sued. You see, the moment you get sued because you're rich, and I've been sued. I never got sued when I was poor. But when I got rich, I got sued all the time. Now, if Garrett hadn't been my attorney, and he is my attorney, I'd be bust today. They would take in everything. Because as you know, it's a litigious world. I've had people slip and fall on their own fault, but they sue me for it. I got to go to court. It cost me $100,000. You just want to pay them off. So when you are poor, nobody's going to sue you. But when you become successful as an entrepreneur, you're going to be very grateful for having an LLC, because the moment they sue you, you cannot get an LLC. It's too late. Yep. It's like you can't buy car insurance after you've had a crash. That's the lesson. That's why Garrett's a great guy.
Yeah, and it's important to say, in no part of the conversation do we just say you have to be a legal expert.
No.
You don't need to be. Don't waste your time with it. Don't waste your mental energy with it. There are experts out there. You can pay them. We'll get it set up, and you move on. That is not what you need to focus on.
You got to get down to systems as quickly as possible.
Yep. Absolutely.
As sales, marketing, PR, internal accounting systems, and all that.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn. It's staggering, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually really cool because Anik helps you take your passion from the mission and turn it into a product. And he helps you with your systems and your communication. We're stepping in and helping on the legal side. And we're also stepping in and helping on the cash flow side because we're giving a free course that we've just created for students for Profit Academy on how to maximize your tax refunds because now you're in business. And
when you're in business, you pay less taxes than employees.
Right.
But you can also pay. You can also pay more if you're not smart.
Yeah.
Right. So we wanted to fill that part of the BI triangle and help the students get the biggest tax break they can. Our goal is to help them get a big enough tax break to actually pay for the course.
And again, that's through the company that does Rich Dad Taxes. We use them.
This is actually we use the teachings from Tom Wellwright and from Matt Stein. He's our accountant here.
He's a former IRS agent.
Auditor.
Auditor, yeah.
Matt Stein is a former agent. Oh my God!
Hopefully, he still has a job today.
Great guy, very smart.
Right. So he's actually created this course to really make sure you get the most deductions, the most aggressive deductions, without getting audited.
Trouble, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Tom Wheelwright, I got nailed because I'm aggressive. I'm very aggressive on taxes, and the IRS said I owe them $2 more million. I went, holy moly, $2 million's a lot of money, for me. And so Tom got it down to 50,000. That's aggressive too. So look, you got to know. Don't worry if you don't know all of this now. It's part of the process. It's like learning to be a pilot. You learn a little bit of time, a little bit of time, then one day you fly.
But you said it best. It wasn't you that had to deal with your tax problem.
No.
That did not stop you from doing what you were good at, which is the marketing.
And the reason I can be aggressive is because I have a good accountant behind me. If I had you behind me, I wouldn't be aggressive.
I'd be filming this from
You
jail,
probably did,
which would not go over well.
not so much.
We'll laugh about it, but it's not funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy mackerel, when they come after you.
You know why we laugh about it? You've been through it.
Yeah.
It gets funny after a while, like, no big surprise, here it comes again.
I tell you something, sports fans. when the federal government comes after you, it's not funny. You know, they're mean, they're nasty,
Yep.
they're
And
smart,
they can.
and they can. And,
Yeah.
and they're almost like thugs with the law on their side. They can come shut you down, tear you up, accuse you of everything, and if you don't have good accountants and good attorneys, you're not going to win. So it's your accountants and your attorneys who fight for me, for us too, right? We don't have to be accountants and attorneys, but you better have good ones.
But
okay?
it doesn't stop you from going forward.
No.
That's the key.
So I can be aggressive.
Yep.
Keep going.
So,
Let's see. The next bonus we have is actually follows under the leadership category here on the VI Triangle, and that is the one of the biggest objections we have when we're teaching people to be entrepreneurs is they can't find the time. And so Shane actually works very hard, and he created a course. It's a time management course, so you can find the time to do what you need to do. But it's also a discipline course, so that you can also find the inner strength inside of you to do what you need to do. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I want to talk about that. You know why I'm overweight? Because I can never find the time to exercise, but I can always find the time to have lunch. And that's why people are poor, is they spend time where they shouldn't be spending it.
yep. Yeah, to just touch on what you just said, one of the first questions we ask is, what do you do in your spare time? If you really have a passion and you want to go out and be an entrepreneur and live your dream out and get in control of your life, what do you do in your spare time? Because I'll challenge you and say, well, if you're watching TV, your neighbor next to you isn't. He's out there trying to become an entrepreneur, getting his LLC set up, getting his team set up. He's learning about taxes.
Or reading a book and business.
He's doing something that betters himself. So that's the first thing. But the second thing, and the most important part of that, is the ability to self-assess and understand why you're undisciplined to do the things that you really should be doing and that you want to do. And why is it that, for example, the TV show wins over learning? That takes over about, like you said, going to the gym versus not going to the gym. It's discipline.
I'll say it again. I don't have time to work out, but I always have time to eat. And that's why most people are poor, fat, and stupid. They waste their time. Most valuable thing you have is your time.
Yep. And you have control over that. Right. And I think what most people say too is that, and they'll even say this about a gym's a great example. They say, well, I can only go in for 15 minutes. Well, 15 minutes is better than zero, right. Number one. And number two, like Robert said, you pick up a book, read for 15 minutes, you have no idea what little gems you're going to pick up out of that can begin to change you. And then day two, maybe you go like this, you know what? I got so intrigued by what I learned yesterday. That's going to be 30 minutes today. The next thing you know, you can't get enough. Right. But it's purely based on your discipline and your desire and passion to spend your time wisely. Because if you spend it wisely now, it'll pay off in dividends in the future.
And you can tell them on Tuesday mornings we study articles, and we just tell them what we do on Tuesday as a company.
Yeah, absolutely. So every Tuesday, Robert will assemble the entire company,
including our partners.
Yeah, outside vendors and partners. And he'll before that he'll have sent out an article to us, and he'll have had us read it, and then we sit down and we discuss what the article is trying to teach us, and how we can learn from it and assimilate the knowledge into our own lives.
Yeah, like one time we did really simple articles in financial papers, a lot of them, is that why the Swiss franc is doing what it's doing, why is the Danish krone strong and all this. So the Rich Dad Company, everybody's understanding why the economy is going the way it does and stuff like this. Because if it's going so fast, you fall behind that fast. Yep. Or you look at what's going on in Greece today, man, it's fascinating. It's horrible for the Greek people, but it's fascinating. So we as a company really believe in study. We study as a team because it holds us tight together. If we study different things, we go apart. By studying the same thing, it makes the cohesiveness, the unity, the strength of our core company stronger, right?
Yeah. In fact, you know how I talked about the Rich Dad Company will do the whole course with you? The whole company becomes unified because we're all talking about the same thing.
That's why we do it. We take basically what Robert teaches us, and that's why we do it. Once we're going to force you to sit down and talk with like-minded people that are going through the same stuff that you are, that want to learn. Like I said, you may be an expert in we have this at Rich Dad all the time. Robert tries to bring experts in to help us break down the article for those of us that don't understand it. Makes a world of difference. Like Craig.
It's usually me. Yeah.
It's simple, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We keep it simple, but we study together. And that's part of leadership here.
Yep.
You know, leadership means this is the culture of our company. Now, if you hate your job, it may be because you hate the culture of your company. And being an entrepreneur, we have the power to create the culture we want to live in. As you can tell, we're all in suits and ties.
Very formally
I
dressed.
do have a follow-up.
Very formally dressed.
So,
Could have tucked it in.
but our culture, that's one thing great about being an entrepreneur, it's your culture. But you got to protect it by being a great leader here.
Yep. That's an important point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Actually, following the leadership, we have two more bonuses that are also offered. Shane is doing a one-day event in Las Vegas. Onik and the Profit Academy, they're doing a 3-day live event. So the day right before that, Shane's putting on an event where he's talking about really how he took Rich Dad, the brand, the company, and he brought it into the digital space. Do you want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, we're going to focus on just taking a look at a company, and Robert's been talking about it a lot this morning, basically keeping it up with today's times. And the focus was to turn Rich Dad from a heavy, heavy physical company into a flexible, agile, nimble digital company and be able to spread our message throughout the world through the use of basically every platform that's out there, from mobile to web, all the way to taking advantage of the free tool in Facebook and Twitter, and how you can communicate to people and create more of a one-on-one relationship from all over the world. And also, and I can't say this most importantly, on the product side, we're not stuck with a heavy
Like
burden.
a game.
Yeah.
The game isn't a board game, it's now an electronic game.
Yeah, so we can
That's
change
going
it.
digital. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
change it. We can update it with today's times. It's because, you know, when you have to change a physical product, it
takes forever.
It takes forever. The design process, and you have everybody's opinions thrown in at you, and then you got manufacturing,
Right.
which you probably dealt with.
Oh.
Their license, your wallets. You know, just don't have to worry about that.
Oh.
So we help
Customs.
you through all that. We have a lot of support, even at Rich Dad, from a technical perspective. We're about as up to date as any company could be in terms of tech that we use. We test stuff. Sometimes we choose the right technology, sometimes we don't, but we help you even with that stuff. So we're going to talk about that during that day.
And I would say that's priceless. I would say that's priceless simply because if Shane hadn't come on board, Rich Dad would be out of business today. But because we were so into the industrial age, and what Shane and his team did was take us into the cyber age, the digital age. And if Shane can teach, and that's what we love about Profit Academy, is they're really teaching you how to be digital age versus industrial age. And you can do that, the world's yours. And again, that's the system here. So what you're going to be learning through the process, and again, I'm not saying it's easy. Some parts are easier than others for some people. But you learn that, you're so far ahead of the guys clinging for job security, working at a company they hate, not making enough money, and worried about, you might be working for the S&P 500 that becomes the 300. You know, you're the 200 that loses to the entrepreneurs. So we're in a very critical time, and just to learn how to take your company into the digital age is priceless. So that's what Shane, you'll be teaching, right?
Yeah, and we're going to have a panel there where you'll be able to ask questions, and that panel is going to be folks from both Rich Dad as well as Profit Academy.
I won't be there because I don't know anything about digital. I'm a real
No,
estate
he
guy.
really doesn't.
I don't.
That's a true statement, and he doesn't care actually, which is
That's
even
your
better.
problem.
Yeah, he does text now though.
I know.
He does text.
What I like are apartment houses, I like debt, and I like tax laws because they really favor the real estate guys. I'm very happy there. So tech, these guys handle for me.
Yep, and we're going to bring the experts with us for that bonus day, so you'll be able to. Some of you may have a passion that you know you can bring digitally, but just the idea of learning new software or new platforms just really scares you. We're going to have some experts there to be able to answer your questions. We have no problem sharing how Rich Dad approaches things and what
we share
use.
everything.
Yeah, we don't exactly. It's a benefit to us. We
Yeah.
could care less. So we're pretty excited about that day. We're going to get a little bit into the time management, the discipline, because our mission at the end of the day is to help you become what you want to be. Because we get to live it every day.
And you've got to go into the digital age. You've got to. And so if you're like me, an old guy like me who's not tech savvy, please show up anyway. Because the earlier you start on your process of learning, I'll say it again, it took me 2 years to become a pilot. It may take you 2 years to understand it, but you've got to start. So if you don't know anything about cyberspace or digital or the tech or internet, show up anyway, because that's when it starts. Okay.
That's actually one of the cool things about this program is nothing is complex. This is designed for the person who knows nothing. So you can almost accomplish what?
Robert raises his hand.
You can almost accomplish anything with just 3 clicks on your mouse. And if you don't know what a mouse is, then maybe it's not for you. But
We'll bring one even shortly.
It is that simple. Like they are so heavy in their systems that anyone can do it, and that's the whole point of it.
And this is what really changed in the world when in 1990, when the internet came on board, it changed this. And the most important thing, it gave power to the people. The little guy could kick ass on the big corporations, and that's what's happening in the world today. So why not you be the guy that's kicking butt versus having your butt kicked at work? You know what I mean? That's my idea.
And that's Robert saying that is the mission of Rich Dad, which is why we search out these opportunities. It's why we partner with these people, because we believe in this. Our employees do this for a living. In fact, a lot of our employees stay here just for the fact that they know you got to constantly be learning. It's just the way it is. And I'll tell you, and Robert and Greg touched on it earlier, like-minded people. That's why you come to these bonus days and these events, because these people are going through the same things you are. They understand your frustrations. They're scared just like you are. As Robert said, they know it's not easy. And Robert touched on it earlier. You'll find out that the more successful you get, your group of friends that you can now talk to starts to dwindle, because there's just very few people that are willing to take these steps in their life. That's why there's such great opportunities for you, because so few people want to do this. We want to bring it to you. We want to give you the opportunity.
Yeah, and one of the reasons people have a hard time communicating is our school system trains us to be specialists. Like, you know, you may I have a marketing degree, or I have an accounting degree, or I have a law degree. And so what happens is they get so over-specialized, that's all they know. And when they lose their jobs or whatever it is, they don't know what to do because they're incomplete. And what an entrepreneur is a generalist. A generalist has to know all 8, not be an expert at all 8, but understand how all 8 work together. So in this process that you'll be going through, you'll be understanding how they operate together. The reason it's called the 8 integrities is if one is missing, integrity is gone. Integrity means whole. So as horrifying as it was for me in my development, when I developed the nylon wallet company, I found out I was weak here. It blew apart. And then when I went into the rock and roll business, I found that I was weak here. I got blown out here. You know, so I went through the school of hard knocks. You know, Andy Tanner, our advisor on paper assets, calls the school of hard knocks, the school colors are black and blue. You know? And so we don't want you to go to the black and blue, or at least if you're getting black and blue, you have an idea what's not working and how you can fix it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you want to be a generalist, and our school system teaches us to be specialists, and that's why so many people are afraid of becoming entrepreneurs and failing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one last bonus, and then I will get out of here. The last bonus is, this is something we've never done before. And this is actually also grew out of the last time we did an entrepreneur training. We found that when week 4 came along, people started to get overwhelmed and get scared, and their own self-doubt
It's a lot to learn. Yeah.
Oh, a lot.
Oh, God.
So right around week 4, week 5, Robert and Kim will actually become your group coach. And they will spend a couple hours, and they'll basically reinvigorate you and give you the
pep talk.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
We've been there, man. We've gone through the valley of the shadow of death. You know,
Up to and including a few years ago.
Oh, right.
So
it'll test your soul.
That's probably the most exciting. But then after that, because we do have so much faith that you will be successful, Robert and Kim will be meeting a couple months after the course. And they'll be teaching you, now that you have money, how do you protect it and what do you do with it? Because that's one of the things you find, like you see in the lottery, all the time people get money and 2 weeks later it's all
they
gone.
didn't have the financial education.
Yes.
To
Well,
be able to weather
it's
it.
worse than that. When you become rich, lawsuits come at you. Secondly, taxes come at you.
Yeah.
And so it's really stupid just to get richer, to make more money, to pay more tax. Your job is to make more money and pay less tax and get sued less. And those are the advanced strategies my advisors and I
It's
go
true.
through. Yeah.
It's true.
Look, a lot of people think, oh, I was talking to this one woman, she's making $80,000 a month. She doesn't keep any of it.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it costs money to be successful.
Yeah.
And she's wide open now for lawsuits because she didn't do the right protection up front. So these are the things you have to know before you become successful. As my rich dad taught me, success is expensive because you have to keep reinvesting. And if you look at these professional athletes, they're making $1 million a year, football players and all that. They get one injury, they're out of business. They don't know what to do anymore.
Yep.
So that's the flaws in our current educational system and financial systems. If you're going to get rich, you better cover your ass.
And success isn't expensive from a dollar standpoint.
Oh.
It's expensive from your life. It's going to take time. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take a lot of sacrificing.
Let me give you an example. I started with my wallet business, and we had no money. We just barely got started, and we struggled for a year, and then one day it took off. And then the orders from the big companies started to come in. Suddenly, $1 million was coming in, but I needed $3 million to keep it going.
Yep.
And if I didn't raise the $3 million, it crashed, and then I'd owed the $1 million. So it becomes this kind of a catch-22 inside there. So I'm just saying to you, success will kill you. So for Kim and I and our advisors, our job is to kind of soften that blow so you don't lose it all, because you never seem to get ahead no matter how much money you make sometimes.
Yeah.
You had the same thing in your restaurant, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cost you more money to succeed.
It really did, yes. And not just money, but it cost you a piece of your soul.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're not trying to discourage you. We're trying to encourage you, but also about being realistic.
Yeah.
Well,
You said it best. We want to be honest about this, and that's why we're telling you about the bonus features that come with us, because we understand what you're going to go
Yeah,
through.
they're all designed to help you learn, give you the safety net, and then all the disasters we've ever seen, learn from us, learn especially from Robert. And,
I'm the big screw up.
well, I probably got that one beat.
No, that's true. I'm proud of it.
I was going to say he's proud, but he didn't have a problem with
But that's all the bonuses are designed to help you succeed, and then even after you succeed, how to keep your success.
Yep.
So,
And one thing that may scare a lot of people is the tech. The ability to talk that language. The tech is like legal and accounting. It's full of acronyms that mean nothing to most. Of course, it means everything to the people that are in it.
You got to speak it.
Exactly. So we have one guy I'm going to bring up here on stage real quick, Rob LeCount. He's been with Rich Dad for a few years. Actually, he's been with Rich Dad for years, but the important part of what Rob does is Rob bridged the gap in the ability to bring tech to a language where we can all understand it so that it makes sense to us. So Rob is our resident tech expert, and he'll be talking to you a lot about, he has a lot of experience in probably most of the tools that they're going to use.
Oh, yeah.
Because we use it, number one. Number two, we also research a lot of stuff to find out if we want to use it. So we do a lot of due diligence on stuff. But Rob, just talk for a second and just the bridging the gap when you come from somebody. Because Robert, you touched on it from a legal perspective. You talk to a lawyer and sometimes it's like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't know what the hell you just said, but you're gonna.
And they like it that way.
Exactly.
They want you to be stupid.
Exactly. But legal is one of those things you can hire and you're okay. You don't have to worry about. Tech's a little bit different world where this is a digital product you're creating, so you're going to be in the space. So when you talk about being able to speak the language, it's like anything else. But the difference is that tech is really your heartbeat now because you're using these resources.
Well, it became right inside here, the middle.
Yeah.
It's everything now.
So you just want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, I come from a consulting background, so I'm a self-taught developer. I was a programmer, web designer, web developer. I've had like a ton of different roles in different companies. But what I've come to find out over the years is communicating technology is probably one of the more difficult things. I've got plenty of business partners, plenty of friends that are in the technology industry, and they really have difficulty. I don't like to use the word dumb it down, but making it more common vernacular, I guess. Just making it easy for people to understand technology. Luckily, I mean, the one thing that you guys have going for you compared to when I started doing stuff like this was I had to build it from the ground up, right? You have all these services, all these tools, all this knowledge. I mean, Google really wasn't that thing when I was starting out. So mine was books, mine was talking to tons of people, tons of trial and error, nights of lost sleep, right? Sacrificing time with my family. You guys don't have to do any of that. We've got all the tools in place. We've made this really simple, and it's just really getting your head wrapped around what it is you're passionate about and how you can make a brand out of that and the mission that you want to create for yourself.
And I think that's the most priceless part, because we are the digital age. You go through this, you'll learn more about being the digital age than anything else. So if you're an old guy like me, just go through it just to learn it. You have a reality of it, you know. That's because I'm out of touch, you know, really.
Yeah, actually, what you said, I just want to elaborate on. The reason why I wanted to bring Rob up was you got to be modern in today's world. And we touched on it earlier this morning. Technology is here to stay, whether you like it or not. It's a question of how do you use it for leverage to create your own opportunities. So not only do we want to help you through it, but furthermore, you just got to understand that once you start learning, it's like anything in life. It becomes repetitive, and you just get better and better and better. Exactly.
It
so,
accelerates.
yeah, it just accelerates. So, and another thing that's funny, like Rob just said something, you know, Google wasn't that thing. You know, Apple wasn't around. You guys, we're talking in the last 15, 20 years. We're not talking hundreds of years stuff here. So if you can imagine how much has changed in 20 years, just imagine how much is going to change in the next 20 years. So our job at Rich Dad is to bring you into that world and to teach you how to use it to your advantage and change your life forever.
And the one thing for me, I'm not in their world at all. You know, I'm completely incompetent. But the beauty at Rich Dad is at least the company has the money to hire these guys who are really smart.
Absolutely.
And our job is to share them with you. And then for a few bucks, you can tap into the brain power that sits here at Rich Dad, we're the cutting edge of what education is. You know, the school is obsolete from my point of view, and we're on the cutting edge of what education is, especially entrepreneurial education, and what it takes to be an entrepreneur versus an employee. You want to be an employee, stay in school. But we're out here to train people by sharing our resources, which is the brain power and the talent and the culture of Rich Dad. Like I said, every one of our employees is encouraged to be an entrepreneur, even though they're an employee, right? I push on it.
Yes, you do. Very hard.
And so if you can learn, what's that?
Yes, very hard.
Yeah, very
That would
hard.
be an understatement, actually. He almost kicks you out the door. Just shy of kicking you out the door.
Now, the reason is I don't, for those of you out there right now who are clinging to job security, I feel for you. You've sold your soul. You know, I want these guys to have their soul back, to be free, you know, find their life's purpose. Hopefully it's here, you know, so you can work here. I don't work here I get a paycheck, but I don't work here because of the paycheck. I work here because this is my passion. I love what I'm doing at Rich Dad, right? I can run into work. I know the least of anybody in the company, but I really, you have the access via the resources that Rich Dad has to share the brain power that we have here, right?
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
And that's, in essence, what good entrepreneurs do.
Yeah.
Because it's in your best interest to not just learn, but to teach. And also, I can't say it enough, to be around like-minded people.
Yeah.
I just can't say that enough. Because you do change through this process. It's an awesome change. It's fun. It's fulfilling. I mean, there's a lot of words for it. And
It's challenging.
Yeah, it's emotional and passion and the fighting, the debate. You touched on it. Lost nights of sleep, from no money in the bank to, oh my God, I didn't see this coming. What do I do? That's living. That is where living is truly done. And that's where the self-gratification and satisfaction of doing something in your own life just pays off in dividends. It really does.
So again, really important, if you're thinking about doing this, becoming an entrepreneur, if you're married, husband or wife, please just let them see this video, discuss it with them. It's not an easy undertaking. You know, I'm very fortunate. My wife Kim is a hardcore entrepreneur. You know, she's proud of it that she got fired from her first job twice. You know, she just hated being an employee. So when I said I'm going to be an entrepreneur, she was willing to go through the years of pain we went through to get here. But it's worth it now. Okay.
And we want to share. We do all the work up front to bring opportunities forward. We do the due diligence. We only partner with people that are entrepreneurs, that have stories to tell, because we know you've been there. Anik, before he started the current version of Profit Academy, worked so hard he put himself in the hospital. He caused health issues to himself. I got to say that made me smile a little bit, because he knows you sacrificed your time and your health, but he has a bigger picture now. And now we're bringing this to really share with you. So we do a lot of due diligence on our partners based on what the mistakes we've made in the past, so we don't make them going forward, right? And we kind of laugh because it gets funny after a while, because I'm telling you, after a while, when you go through something like this and you meet as Robbie said, the seedy people, you kind of laugh it off, because you're like, yep, been there, done that. Don't want to do that one again. Right? But if you can't laugh about it, then you're just not having fun.
I'll tell you, the worst thing about it is my lawsuits came from my partners.
Yep.
The
closest people to you.
Yeah. And when you understand that, you don't need anybody outside the business, it's right next to you. So that's why, not that you can avoid it, but just be aware of it.
This is, I'm a little embarrassed to ask you, but people write in and say, "Can I really do this?" Because the fear in their head just gets so strong. I can tell you, just from the course itself, it's so simple that anyone can do it. You only need 30 minutes a day, and some people will do 2 hours a day, but 30 minutes a day, and you can succeed at this.
Well, we make it simple, but it's not easy.
Oh, it's not easy.
It's
It
a very big
requires
difference.
dedication.
What makes people afraid is the unknown. And the thing I love about these programs is at least you know what you don't know. What's really terrifying is when you go into a business and you know you don't know something, but you don't know what you don't know. The beauty of this program is kind of you get held by the hand, you go through it.
Yep.
And even if you don't succeed the first time, you can go through it a second time and a third time, because that's how we learn. The stuff about going to school, taking a test, and they punish you for making a mistake, that is so draconian, so immaculate, it's so obsolete.
Yep.
That's why I don't like school. But we encourage you to learn. You go through it once, go through it twice, go through it 3 times. Like I have failed more businesses than I've succeeded.
Oh, yeah. I've got a few on the list.
Yeah. But I didn't know what I didn't know. If I had known what I know, I wouldn't have made the mistake, but I didn't know. So fear is just the unknown, and our job is to kind of put it in focus, what you have to learn. I'm not saying we're going to teach it to you, but you have to learn it.
And that's why we put together this
Team. Yeah.
team and this program, because we've been through it enough. We pretty much know where your freeze points are going to be, or pinch points. So when you say, "Can you really do this?" we're already removing a couple steps from you that a lot of people gets frozen in, which is the LLC and the taxes.
Yep.
A lot of people just, like deer in the headlight, we're taking care of that for you. We're holding weekly calls so you can talk and share with the community. We have a bonus day so you can come and Q&A with people that understand technology and systems and taxes.
Well, let me tell you, the worst thing when I started out was hanging out with employees. It's like I said, all they say to all my friends who are employees, job security guys, "Oh, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. Why are you doing this? Keep your job. What's wrong with you?" That's what makes it hard.
Right.
Hey, screw you. I'm going out of here anyway,
You like-minded people.
Yeah.
Yep.
The guys I hang out, my friends like Kenny and all that, they're mega millionaires, and they don't think about job security. They just want the next deal.
And they're not worried about failing.
No.
They've
part of the
been there,
process.
done
Well,
that.
and you guys said it earlier. Don't be afraid of what you don't know here.
You
Be
don't know.
afraid of being an employee and at the mercy of everybody.
And I tell you another thing to be afraid of is by being afraid of your own failure, you're actually jeopardizing your own success.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense at all. So
What's worse is you don't go for your dreams.
yeah.
All of you have a dream, but I can't afford my dream. Well, that's a suck way to live. Jeez.
And it's in your headspace.
Yeah.
It's your head. You're the one that's telling yourself that. So
Well, you guys know I just go where I want to go all over the world, right?
Oh yeah, I
pretty much.
yeah, I can't even get a hold of you half the time because you're in Peru or
Africa.
or-
Yeah, I was going to say
Russia
Africa's the big
or-
one
yeah.
where
I do business all over the world, and I love it.
Yeah.
Get to meet nice people all over the world. It's wonderful business. And I get to have fun.
Okay, next question. This one is just more of an academic question. How much time does it take? The course itself takes 8 to 9 weeks, but you don't have to accomplish it in 8 to 9 weeks. You get a lifetime access to the course. So you get to go at your own pace because we don't know what your life is like. So you go at your own pace. The course is 8 to 9 weeks, followed up with the bonus day
And the 3-day live
and the
event.
3-day live event. But you get to go at your own speed. It's 30 minutes a day. It's 15 minutes a day. It's 2 hours a day. It's very flexible. So it's really up to.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible or as part of the program. I'd find a partner to go through with it because it's really easy to dog it to do. But if your partner's going to keep you on it, that's
Somebody
why.
to motivate you.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. If your spouse, your husband or wife, if they're not into it, you have a problem starting right now. You'll find out.
Can I just talk about that real quick? So your spouse, my spouse didn't, in our last one, didn't do it with me, but she supported me in different ways. So where I would normally do the cooking and then the cleaning of the kitchen, she took over that responsibility so that I could use that time then to study. So there's more than one way they can support you.
Good partner.
Yeah.
That's what Robert's saying. Good partner.
Yeah.
Good partner.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to have Kim because we pushed each other along. We took some huge hits. Like we got torpedoed a number of times. And it was the emotional support which just clung together. And we did nothing illegal, but there's a lot of people out there who like to.
Think you did. Or
come after you. So it really takes emotional and personal strength, special strength.
Great. This is again more academic. What does the training look like? We've kind of already talked about this. It's an 8 to 9 week program.
You know how I describe it? You get 9 years of education in 8 weeks.
That's true. Huh?
And that takes away the unknown. At least you know what you don't know. I'm an idiot here. Like these guys know I'm an idiot in all areas, but I'm very proud of it.
Not all areas.
All
some of it.
strong, but
Not all.
but it's also
I know what I don't know, and I know who
video.
does know. That's the
Right,
difference.
Right. Okay.